I don't know how much difference it's making, the research I'm doing, the decisions I'm making prior to going into each game. All I know is that we are still unbeaten and we are still yet to concede a goal. And today we've got to do the prep for the game against Crystal Palace. A little bit more of a sterner test. Let's go and kick some balls. Hello and welcome back. And it's now part 7 of a season with Aston Villa, the save in which we are using all kinds of places to find information about the team we are about to play and using that information to maximise our chances of victory within that game. And so far, it is going extremely well. If you've been following along, you know that we've played 6 games since the season began and we've won 6 and we are yet to concede a goal. But we have been given a very favourable start to the season and we're really yet to play a big club. We did play Newcastle in our second game, but there may be all sorts of reasons why we ran out winners in that game by 1-0. We changed our system. We focused them onto their left foot because they were very weak on the left-hand side of the pitch. And it seemed to pay off despite the fact that we were pretty much battered throughout the game. But apart from that, the fixture list has been pretty kind to us. We are going to play Crystal Palace today, who might be a little bit more of a sterner test. But before we get into our analysis, we do have to address the email that we get before every game. English team Aston Villa have been touted as comfortable favourites, but we'll have to be wary about complacency. And so looking at the poll, it does suggest that we are favourites and that we should be winning each time that we face Bruges. We are a better team than Bruges. And we did test this 10 times in our mirror save, and this is what happened. We won 8 of them, and we drew 2, losing none of the games. So I guess the email is correct. We were comfortable favourites, but we did switch back to the 4-2-3-1, which is why I want to begin with a quick analysis of the game against Bruges. But before we go into that, if you're a brand new visitor, I'm Phil. Welcome to the channel. And you know the drill. Do all that good stuff that you can see on the screen, and it will help the channel, and it will inspire me to keep on creating content. Okay, so now let's get into the video, and we're going to first take a look at how we got on against Club Bruges. And so we're just going to have a quick look at the last game, and I'm going to go quickly into the data hub. I'm going to look at our last 5 matches, and I've narrowed that down to 1. And there's nothing really negative to actually see here. We're building up a lot of positives, and we can see that the only negative is that Leon Bailey lost the ball quite a lot. I'm hesitant to say he's a weak link because he's an attacking player out there, and he will lose the ball. He will take more risks. I think probably what my assistant would like me to do is to tell him to take fewer risks. I don't think that that's an issue, but we are going to check that when we go and have a look at how we got on in our last game. And so the first thing we'll do is we'll go and check what his pass completion was. And you can see that he's got an 84% pass completion. Some of the passing, like Buendia, 77, there's an 88. It's overall, it's not that bad. Courtney House is an 83. There's an 80 here for Ross Barkley. There's an 80 for John Duran when he came on. Overall, it's not that bad. So I don't see him as a risk. I don't see him as losing the ball more than any other player. If he was on a support role, I guess he would look to play it a little bit shorter. So I'm not all that bothered by it. So we're going to go and have a look at the team data now. And I'm really interested in the pass combinations. Our pass combinations are extremely good. And we are getting passes all over the pitch. Ollie Watkins is still a little bit isolated, and again we might have to do that when we are playing the much bigger teams, but for the moment I'm not really bothered. That he is scoring goals. He's our top scorer. Overlay the heat map, and we can see that there's a good spread over the pitch, but we are much more left orientated than we are right. And whether that's an issue, I don't know. It might be an issue in some games, it might not be. But generally, we tend to pass quite well all over the pitch. And so the next place I'm going to go to is the Premier League stats, just a quick team overview. I'm going to have a look at the average possession. We are in 10th, we are 52%. Crystal Palace have an average possession of 49% in 13th. They are capable of passing the ball around, but I think we could probably outpass them. I think we are a better passing team and we shouldn't be changing the way we play for Crystal Palace. And in terms of crossing ability, we want to find cross completion, and we can see we are second in the league in terms of cross completion. 22% is very, very effective. And looking for Crystal Palace, they are right down the bottom. They have a 10% cross completion. I don't think that they are going to be a serious issue. You can see they've actually only completed 13 crosses in their first 6 games. I don't think they're an issue. So I think overall we probably are a better team than Crystal Palace as it stands at the moment, and I don't think that we have too much to worry about. And so now to go and take a quick look at Crystal Palace. First of all, we'll go and take a look at the schedule, see how they're getting on, and they have actually lost 5 games in a row. They are not performing very well, and I thought they were doing better than they were in the league, but actually they're down the bottom. They have just 3 points from their opening games. A quick look at some of these fixtures that they've played. You can see that Ipswich passed very nicely, had most of their passing down the right-hand side, probably deserved to beat them because they beat them in the possession battle. Even Ipswich found that they could outpass them. Tottenham also the same, and you can see that Tottenham had 59% of the possession. If you're a good passing team, you can control the game via possession, but I can also see that Tottenham played mostly down the right-hand side, which is interesting to find again. If we go and look at the next game that they played against Liverpool, again, it's another 4-2-3-1, interestingly. And interesting, you can see that Liverpool also pretty much played down the right-hand side. This is a little concern to me because we, at the moment, are playing mostly down the left-hand side. So if we go to the analytical data, we go to the teams and we load up the pass maps for both teams, you can see there's much more play, I think, down the left-hand side. And then if we go to possession and overlay the heat map on that, some passing down the right-hand side, some passing down the left-hand side. I'm going to take out the combinations, and now I'm just going to find... I can see Crystal Palace's play was mostly down their left-hand side, and switch it to Ipswich. Ipswich actually played down their right-hand side. So it does seem to me that Ipswich, who controlled the possession, were passing mostly down the right-hand side. So that is an indication that maybe we do have to change something. If we go to the players and we go to Crystal Palace and we have a look at the passes for Crystal Palace, most of the stuff went through Guehi, as I suspected that it might, as well then as Chalkboard was a huge link in midfield, I guess, and their forwards not so much involved in the game. And if I look at crosses now, who was making the crosses, I really can't see much going on in terms of crosses. 2 completed crosses, one from Will Hughes and one from Tyrok Mitchell on the left-hand side. So I don't really think there's too much to worry about. There were 4 unsuccessful crosses and actually no crosses out of play. So the total amount of crosses is very, very small. Nathaniel Klein had no completed crosses, and all his crosses on the right-hand side were unsuccessful. This was not really a very good performance in terms of crossing. I think that if we force them outside, we'll get the job done. I don't really see any other problem here with Crystal Palace. And so it's helped us to identify 2 things about Palace. And that's firstly that most teams seem to be attacking them down the right-hand side and getting success doing that, beating them fairly easily by the look of it. Crystal Palace have not scored in their last 4 games. And secondly, if we can force them wide, they're not going to provide us with an aerial threat. And so I don't think there's much that we need to worry about in terms of Palace. We can outpass them. We can control the game through possession. So we will play with this shorter passing. We'll play with the 4-2-3-1 because most teams that have beaten them have played with a 4-2-3-1. So we will go with that. And we will just play as we have been playing. I do want to put pressure on them. There are a couple of things that we still need to take a look at. We're going to go to the team reports and we're going to go and have a look at the scout report. And I'm looking at the negatives. We can see crossing is not very good. Corners are not very good. They're not very good at it. They don't have great stamina. That means they might fade late in the game. Their acceleration is poor, as well as their pace being poor. We can see that they have no pace. They make poor decisions. They create fairly poor chances from set pieces. There's a lot of things that are poor. Dribbling is poor. They're not going to be able to just go past us. We should be favourites to win this game, and we should win it quite comfortably, I would thought. But I want to be a little bit pragmatic at the start, and I don't want to go gung-ho because they do have good players such as Eze and Mitchell, Guehi, Kamada to an extent, and Nekatia. They're all good players, so we need to make sure we do our jobs properly. And we focus on maintaining possession, creating chances, as we have been doing, and then we will hopefully win. I think it's important that we try and focus our play down the right-hand side and join that band of teams who have all played down the right-hand side with the 4-2-3-1 and have beaten them by doing that. And so for the analysis, I think we're pretty much done. And all that remains now is to go and set up the team, decide who's best to be playing in the team, and hopefully the game plan will work. We do have a 4-3-3, if necessary, that we can switch to if we're not winning the possession battle in midfield. But generally, I want to keep it away from the midfield. Okay, so let's go and see now how we got on. And so we had won another one by 2-1. We had lost our clean sheet record, but our run of victories continues. But that was not what it seemed, and in reality we should have lost that game. Indeed, we should have lost it in the first 20 minutes, and had I continued to play in the way that we were playing, then we would have gone on to probably been spanked. But there were a couple of things that I didn't notice in preparation for the match, and I think that's down to complacency. We'd been on this good run. I looked at Crystal Palace briefly in the data hub and on the chalkboard. Nothing seemed to jump out at me, and then I missed some very crucial pieces of information. And we were very fortunate that I was playing in full match. So that gave me time to see what was happening. It gave me time to react to that. And at around 15 or 16 minutes, I paused the game and made some very crucial changes. If I had not made those changes and noticed what was actually going wrong, we would have gone on to lose the game. The email that we got made us slight favourites to win the game, and I did go on and play it in the mirror save as normal, as slight favourites, playing in the way that we started the game. And we won 4 times, drew 3 and lost 3. So there were 6 occasions I replayed it when we didn't win. And therefore, I would make us slight underdogs in that game, not slight favourites. So it was the adjustments that I made in-game that enabled us to win the game. So in part 2, we will be uploading the video which will explain exactly what I missed, what happened, how I changed it for the better. And that's it for this video. Don't forget to do all that good stuff that you can see on the screen. It does help the channel immensely. And all that remains to be said from Villa Park is stay safe, take care, and we'll see you in the analysis.